Right, welcome to video number 2. I'll be doing the wing. I've obviously turned the plans down so I can actually do the wing. Now, the centre rib is a 1/4 inch balsa, as you can see here. I'll just zoom the camera in a little bit for you guys. There you go. The rest of them are all 1.5 mil, which I think is 1/16. This for the metric people is 6.5 millimeters. And yet again we've got the printout of all the ribs. There's a neat little trick I'll mention a little later on. So, with these thick ones, I'm actually going to cut them out on the scroll saw, just to guarantee that I can get a decent 90-degree edge on them. For the smaller 1/16 ribs, when I drew these up on the computer, you can actually use a straight edge to cut behind the main spar, and it's actually, I think, there's 1/8 of an inch back from where the main spar is. From there right down is a perfectly straight line. Now, there is a cutout here for a 3/16, which acts as a servo rail, given how I intend to mount the servos in the aircraft. Now, the idea is once the centre rib's cut out, take the paper off it, and there is a matching rib for the 1/16. Both of these I would glue on here with thick or medium CA, and they'll just make it a little bit easier. Right, I'll cut this out and I'll be back in a second. Right, I've cut out the centre rib. As you can imagine, you need to be reasonably careful cutting this piece here out. It is rather close to the slot for the 3/16. I actually square sanded the whole thing before actually cutting that out, just to make damn sure I didn't break it. So the next step, obviously, cut out all your ribs. Now, in the latest set of plans, there are 2 ribs with little red boxes in them. These are actually there. So, when you after you've made the ribs, just before you peel off the paper, carefully cut the outside of the red box, or you can just cut out the inside and mark it with, once you peel off the small piece, mark it with a pen, because what you'll need to do is add a piece of 1/16, sort of a 1/4 inch onto it like that, and up there, and this will actually provide the slot for the braces between the upper and lower wing, and you'll need to do the same on the back of it. And I'll deal with how to build these braces once the wing's complete. Now, unfortunately, the downside with a biplane obviously is it takes twice as long to build the wing. So I'll get all these ribs cut out, and then we'll deal with actually putting it together. Well, so far, half a wing, 1/4 of the way there. So, and what's our centre rib, which just leaves yellow 5. And here I was thinking I was pushing it for the lack of ribs in the whole wing. Maybe next time I'll put even less. Well, while we're here, just while I'm on a quick break. Incidentally, a lot of the time it's taking me to do this isn't on the camera, but I just thought I'd have a quick look around. There you can see the fuselage, and there's another biplane. Flies like absolute crap, and it's got no motor. Oh, not good enough. There's the plane known as Little Red, as well. It's little and it's red. And those that haven't seen it, my Mojo. Now this had a recent addition today of, I'll just lock the camera off, a nice shiny new, well it's not actually shiny at all, but it's new, nothing else, right there, nice max tuned pipe. It's big, it's ugly, and it makes the plane sound absolutely almost evil. I love it. Well, back to the build, I guess. Right, up to the last rib, finally. Although I did stop to watch a movie, so I'm not sure if that counts. Now, before anyone asks, this plane probably would be a lot easier to build just out of foam, but to be honest, I don't like foam airplanes. I mean, yeah, they give you a lot of freedom with what you can do with them, but I prefer the hands-on sort of individual part building of balsa. And this is my second basically scratch built aircraft out of just balsa. Given this time I've actually got plans for it because, well, I drew them up myself. But that's just my own little personal gripe. I mean, if you, I've nothing against people that build foam aircrafts. I think they're absolutely brilliant. I mean, they've got no weight in them. You can't beat that. It's just, yeah, me being me, I prefer balsa. It costs a lot more than foam as well, but I just like working wood. It's nice. So I'm just down to the last rib, and just thought I'd give a quick, well, rant basically, while I quickly work this rib down to being an actual rib. Normally, like the last aircraft I built, and I've also got another one aside on this one that I haven't actually finished yet. I've got the wing for it. I actually build jigs, not jigs as such, but templates, or as I sort of call them, master ribs. Just sort of a cheater's way of doing it, but it works really well. And that's actually what, on the ribs, these sort of indexed, very well aligned holes are actually for. You can actually use these to make your templates. In fact, all my wings have them. And this is actually a set of the last ones I made. not easy to see on camera, just, I mean, they're made of acrylic. I've got a sheet of acrylic, 3mm acrylic, or perspex or plexiglass or whatever you want to call it. And you can see these actually have, you might not be able to see them, but they've actually got index holes in them there. Now the actual wing for this, I'll just quickly zoom the camera out, is this here. It's not actually finished yet, but you can actually see the index holes there. The big holes, it's hard to see, but the big holes that go all the way through were originally to run servo wires, but I found the little fiddling and modification I can actually fit a servo through them. And this wing's built slightly differently to how I normally build them. As I said, this is actually the wing for a plane called Little Red. And this wing is built the same way I'm building this one here. Just this one's a 36 inch, not a 18 inch. And again, servos sort of sitting in, sitting out, and that's how the servos are getting done on this one. So pretty much all my planes have dual aileron servos. I prefer having the ability to set up different throws for individual ailerons. Just makes it a little easier. So let's quickly get this one sanded down. And once this is done, I can actually finally start building the first wing. Now I probably won't do, for obvious reasons, a video of the other wing, just because they're exactly the same. Well, not exactly the same. Obviously the lower wing's got more holes on it. The idea is, and I forgot to mention this on the previous video, the servo wires from the two servos in the tail actually run through the fuselage. Hence there's the gap in the bottom of the lower wing saddle. It is purely for that reason. So, and well, that's that done. I'll just quickly zoom the camera back in. That should be about right. A little bit more. Yeah, okay, there we go. Right. Now the exact knife. Now normally when I'm doing this sort of thing, I've got music on in the background. There's no one else here, so it's usually pretty loud, which for doing a video is probably not a good idea. Unfortunately, no music. I just find it helps pass the time when you're doing very tedious, repetitive work. So, now this particular rib goes on, this is one of the ribs that doubles onto the centre rib. Now if you remember that centre rib, I'll show you with the other one. We had this big hole in here. Now, and this is the other rib of that one. So if we quickly line that up, now if you remember, we are going to glue this on here. The hole in there lines up with the slot, and that is so you can run wires through them. Obviously 2 aileron servos, opposite sides of the wings, something to go through. As for the receiver, my plan for that is to actually just mount it on the side of the fuselage, just in between the 2 wings, just because I can. Which, unfortunately, I haven't quite left enough space to put this receiver inside the wing. If I decased it and put heat shrink on it, I'd probably get away with it. I'm running a full size, not full size, but a 7 channel 2.4 gig Futaba receiver, so there are some drawbacks. Obviously, if you've got like a 4 channel or some channel radio, which this will work with, it'll be easier to fit in. So, once I get this punched out, we'll get to the wing build.